Welcome folks to the Roadster Rumble tonight as we go live into the final parts of qualifying. New qualifying format on show tonight as well. We'll see the top 10 shootout shortly for that elusive pole position. And it's great to be back at Monza. It's been a while, but let's take you down to tonight's broadcast. And we're just picking up some 86s out there at the moment. And let's have a quick look at the times. It is Logan on top with a 2:12.992. Currently just ahead of Harrison Tesseriro, just behind him. P3, let's get rid of that music and let's crank up the sounds of the 86s and the MX5s tonight to do battle around, well, this place. It is speed. It is all speed, even in the cars that we have tonight that aren't overly the fastest cars out there. They do wriggle along pretty damn well. So we'll flick across any of your favourite contestants that are out there racing or drivers that are out there tonight. If you want to see them, all you've got to do is yell out and say good day and put some comments up on the YouTube and on the Twitch and Facebook. I'll try and monitor all of those tonight, but obviously it's great that we can have on a Monday night this Roadster Rumble series. Thanks to all the sponsors once again getting on there. Mega Chungus or Med Chungus is on there. Should get me to commentate, mate. You're welcome to come and commentate. If I could get 1,000 people to commentate so I didn't have to, that would be my ideal night after having a 12-hour day at work, talking all day. Hello, Spike. Meow. Spike in the house. And hello and welcome to tonight. So, we do have Cam in the green room. Let's grab Cam in for a chat. Welcome, mate, to tonight's racing here at Monza. How are you feeling and what's going on? Give him the big intro. Is he there? Cam, you there, buddy? No, Cam. We'll stick him back in the green room for now, and we'll find out what's going on there later. Greg Holmes is out there in the MX-5s, currently parked up. So looking down the list, it's the bottom 10 qualifiers that will go out shortly, or the bottom 10, sorry. I should say the top 10 in practice will go out at the final part of qualifying for the top 10 shootout. We got Seagar, Fenson, Oliver, Jared Philsell yet to go out and set a time. Ben Snell, Glenn Boyd, Moz, and of course Jack Boyd, all yet to trouble the timers. So about 2 minutes remaining. At that time, all the drivers that are out on the track must be off the circuit, and then they get the track to themselves, and they can rip it up. Thanks, Graham, for the shout out too. Welcome aboard to you tonight as well. Don't forget we've got this brand new YouTube channel. Please sub to the new channel, RSTVAU on YouTube. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and you'll know when we're live. And I'm trying to be a little bit more proactive these days, get the broadcast previews up well in advance so you can see what's coming up that week on YouTube. And we do spend a lot more time focusing on YouTube these days, just with the way Facebook has limited the amount of exposure that the page gets. Even with 5,500 or so subscribers, they don't tend to push it out very far. So we're going to go back to YouTube and focus mainly on that. So if you want to get involved in the conversation, head over to YouTube and say good day. Righto, what's cooking tonight? Well, I can tell you it's going to be tough to beat the likes of Phil Sell and Boyd at a place like this. Plenty of experience, but who knows? We might get a wild card up there tonight. Herrera's just put in a great time. 2:12, just a 10th clear of Logan. Comes into the pits, and all the cars will now filter off the track as we approach that 10-minute mark. Like I said, they've got to be tucked away at that time, and the top 10 will come out. So Hunter Robb says no idea what that no is about. Maybe mates with Med. Righto, so Ryan, Kasha and Lockie Bloxham for a podium is the prediction. We'll see how we go. We've got a little bit of time to find that out. 2 races again tonight. Some of the format, obviously the top 10 86 drivers will be selected via the practice session and announced 5 minutes prior to the conclusion of practice. They're the guys that have been thrown in for this top 10 shootout. And it's good to see all the cars out on track at one point as well. And then we've got Andrew Dutch will be joining me tonight in the commentary booth, which is good. Andrew Dutch has just had surgery, so he's unable to race. He'll be joining me hopefully shortly as Ryan Casher now makes his way out onto the pit straight here at Monza to start his first warm-up lap before he gets probably 2 or 3 flying laps in. The usual tonight, 2 times 30-minute races with a mandatory fuel stop required. And the incident limit per race has been reduced to 15. So they're applying a 10 incident per race limit for the remainder of the season. So 15 tonight, and Let's see how we go with that incident limit before penalties start getting added out. It's it can get a bit, a bit hard to get around this. Oh, wow, he's all over the place there. You can get a bit hard to get around a lap here at Monza sometimes with that, putting a wheel wrong, especially with these big braking zones into the chicane. It's easy to hop over the curb, get yourself 4 points off track. Easy to make a mistake in the race too and make rear end contact with the car into these braking zones. And we'll hopefully talk to Greg at some point today as well about how you can get involved in this series. It's the Roadster Rumble. We've got about 35 or so cars, maybe a few more, out for tonight's race. Usually it's around that 40 mark, so it's a big field of cars split between the 86s and of course the MX5s, which are the staple of the Roadster Rumble we've seen since day dot. Mark Foster says, no Dutchie tonight, Luke. So there you go. I thought Dutchie was coming in for a chat. Looks like it's just me. That's all right. G'day, Keith Logan. Nice to have you in the house as well, mate. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you currently inside the top two. P2 for Keith Logan. How long will that stand? Well, we'll find out shortly. So Jack Boyd's out on the track as well. There's Jack in this beautifully painted Boyd Racing 86. Looks very flash. As well as him, we've got Jared Filsell now out on the track in the Group A, of course. Group A being the 86s, Group B being the MX5s. This is Jared Filsell in this Wave Runner performance car, and he's looking good already. Just throwing the car over the curbs. You can see these 86s do ride the bumps pretty well. And off he goes down towards the Parabolica to start his first flying lap. Should be pretty dialed in, I would say. He's probably done a couple of thousand, or probably more laps around this joint. So Ryan Casher's going quick. We'll come back to him shortly. Glenn Boyd's out on the track too, just about to start his first lap. So Boyd crosses the line, and it's this huge, big, long drag towards turn one, the chicane, which we all know so well. And picking your braking point is so important to get that right. You've got to just get the car on the limit, get it stopped, get it turned across, and if you run long through here, it's going to throw you a track limit and obviously a slowdown penalty as well. It can be very costly because down in the next straight, it can just back you off completely, and that penalty is quite often hard to pay back. Keeps adding time. So, but looking good at the moment. Ryan Casher, like I said, on fire so far sector-wise. Damien Seeger's done a new green first sector, but Casher's gone purple. Sector 1, currently heading through that second chicane, heading down towards the first of the Lesmos. Let's just see how he rides through here. We'll jump on board, and let's see if this car turns in nicely for him. It does, just cuts across the ripple strip there, right out to the exit curb, using all of the track, and looking very good. So this is the Casher-mobile with all his fans. He brings a few people along. Ryan Casher, he's gone yellow sector 2, not ideal, and obviously purple is what we want to see. Green means you've done personal best. Purple is the best of anyone, as Moz does green, Harrison does green as well, Seeger's on a triple green, so they're looking good. But we want to see purple as Casher now goes green sector 3, Moz goes green sector 3 as well, and lone qualifying, so they are out there by themselves. If that makes sense, if you're watching for the first time, they don't have another car on the track, so it's like a timing shootout. You don't have anyone you can blame. It's just you out there in the track to set your best time, and they do that in this lone qualifying mode to stop those little incidents where you might have a driver impede another one, which is quite costly. Wayne Losh, there's Wayne out there at the moment, as we start to see a few times pop up. Seeger goes 6th. Casher goes to the top with that time, a 2:12.1, not much quicker. In fact, quicker than Boyd, but not much quicker than Logan, 8/10ths down. So the top 10 starting to put their times down. Where does Jared Filsell go? As he comes to the line now, and he's looking pretty good so far. He's done one purple sector, a couple of greens, goes purple in the final sector, which should take him to near the top, and he goes P1 on a 2:11.9. So the first 2:11 now goes to Jared Filsell. I tell you what, some of these drivers outside the top 10 in this top 10 shootout. Glenn Boyd's gone P11 with his time. He'll run again. Wayne Losh, 12th place. Seeger's gone 13th. And then it's Oliver and Snell, your top 15. So Ben Snell at the moment at the back of that top 15. He'll want to try and get a little bit more out of this car on this final lap. Cash has gone purple again, so he's seen that the Mark Harrison's off the track, and he just comes back on there. That will be the end of his flying lap. But let's watch Snell He's also off the track, so unfortunately when you do get an off track like that in iRacing, that's curtains on your lap. They do wipe the time off the board, which, you know, it's something I sort of half agree with, half don't agree with. It's something, you know, Bathurst, for example, you can brush a wall in real life, you can still get a lap time in iRacing. You brush a wall, they take the time away from you. So it'd be nice if they had a little bit of flexibility on that, as Kasha goes purple, yellow, green. Watching the sector times for this man too. Aaron Oliver, 14th. Aaron would surely want to be somewhere up in the top 6 or 7, I would say, based on prior performance, but we'll see in about half a minute's time when he crosses the line where he's going to be and how close to the top. So big g'day to everyone that's tuning in once again, Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. RSTVAU is our brand new YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe on that. I was heading over there before just to have a look at some of the pointers, and I could see that there was plenty of people subscribing, so I think we're up over 1,000 subscribers when we got our other channel deleted, sadly. And it looks like YouTube are never bringing it back. As much as I've tried to protest the point, I've still to this day, it's been over a year, not had one single reply from YouTube. It's always been replies from robots, and very disappointed. I'm not sure if anyone out there has some pull with YouTube that could help us out, but I've been banging my head against the wall now for over a year trying to get that channel back live, and it's not working. So here we are again to start again as Fuel Cell crosses the line, stays top, goes quicker in fact with an 11.8. So 2:11.8 for Fuel Cell at the top. Losh finishes his lap, goes 8th, and he's backed out as well. So I'm just trying to see if anyone down there is going to put in a quicker time. I don't think so. Glenn Boyd's going again, only P14 for Boyd. Jack Boyd's gone P3, Lee Harrison's gone 4, and Moz sits up there in 5th place. But Glenn, let's just watch him through a lap here. We'll ride on board and enjoy the sound. I think he's got a bit of pressure now on his shoulders to start that far back in Class A. In fact, he's only 2 drivers off of Class B of Gordon, who put a great time in. Tyson's gone P1 in class ahead of Scott Baker and Anthony Connors. So nice job. Let's ride on board and have a listen. Backed out by the sounds of it, so Boyd, he's going to retire that lap. I'd say he'll head back to the pits, so everyone's off the track. Boyd's finishing this lap at well off the pace. Ben Snell not too far behind, also pushing for a lap, but I think he's also gone yellow, so looks like we're done. That's qualifying done and dusted. We'll bring a couple of people in for a chat now. We've got Greg standing by, and hello Greg, welcome to another round, man. Monza, it's a festival of speed, this place. How are you feeling before tonight's race?
Yeah, not too bad. I've been on the sick list for a couple of days, but yeah, slowly on the road to recovery, so I'll see how I go. If I make 2 races distance tonight, I'll be happy.
Yeah, Phil still on top, 0.3 of a second back to Kasha, who looks strong. Boyd and Harrison, your second row of the grid as the last couple of cars peel into the pits here at Monza. 2-race format again tonight, fuel required. It's one of those tracks that will once again be dominated by drafting. What's your expectations as far as fuel stop? How far in?
I think you can get around 8 to 9 laps, so anywhere sort of between lap 2 and probably lap 8, I would expect most of the fuel to be in. Mazda's going to need around about 8 litres. The Toyota's probably going to need around 12.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
A new qualifying format tonight. We see a few upsets there with a couple in that top 10 shootout outside the top 10. So Boyd down in 14th being one of them, Snell 15th. So yeah, it puts a bit of pressure on them to really perform at that last dying stage.
Yeah, it's a hard track with off tracks.
Yep.
It's and especially when you're sort of qualifying on your own, you try to put in time, and yeah, one little mistake and you find yourself right back at the back of the pack again.
Well, good luck, man. We'll go through the grid now as we see Jared Filsell lining up alongside him, Ryan Kasha out of P2. We've got Jack Boyd and Lee Harrison off the second row. Moz will start out of P5 tonight. Aaron Oliver alongside him. And then it's Matty T, Wayne Losh in 8th place, Keith Logan inside the top 10 in 9th. Great result for him, and Mark Foster to round out your top 10. Mark's with us as well as we flick through the rest of the grid. Mark, how are you feeling going into this race?
Oh, g'day Luke, how are you?
Good, mate.
Pretty good. We'll see how we go. I'm just going to try and stay out of trouble with this, especially coming into this first turn 1 and turn 2 could be a bit dicey, so hopefully it'll go well.
Yeah, hold back a little bit maybe is the key. It's going to be, obviously it's always a concertina here at Monza, but, you know, keeping the car straight and not with bent panels probably very important here at the start.
Yeah, absolutely, and to watch those slowdowns as well, but there's a few fast guys behind me, so look, let's just see how we go. Got to get it off the line.
Yeah, good luck. Not too much wheel spin. And Anthony, you're out there racing tonight? Yeah, ready to go?
I am, Luke. How are you, mate?
Good, mate.
I'm ready to go. It's going to be interesting.
P3 in class qualifying. Good job, mate. And in the MX5s, I think we've got everyone gridded up now. You guys are going to hang with me, are you, while you're racing?
Yeah.
Here we go. Right, let's get set for a start here from Monza for the first of 2 races tonight for the Roadster Rumble. And we get away. Lots of wheel spin. It's the headlights on tonight. Black tyre smoke thanks to iRacing as we rip off the line already 5 or 6 wide. This is where it's always exciting. Jared Philsell leads us the way at the front, and as Philsell does, he will be looking straight ahead, not in his mirrors, as we've got some jostling in the background. A couple of cars already forcing their way through, pushing the point. Look at Kasha up on 2 wheels as he gets through. We've got a bit of nose to tail action in the background as it's like peak hour traffic trying to get through towards the back of the field, but they do finally get their way through, and that's not bad in the end. They did sort themselves out, and we get away well, but straight away Phil. So 0.8 of a second leads off this battle behind with Kasha, Boyd, Moz. Then you got Harrison and Losh. We're looking at Losh now right up behind Lee Harrison on board with him. He's looking at Moz and Lee in front as they change position into the second chicane. Good opening move there. Losh goes up 2, by the way. Logan up 1 off the start. Seeger and both himself and Lockie Bloxton made a couple of positions each. Jesse Carriage is dropping down the order and in the fence with plenty of damage in the MX5, so not an ideal start for him, but we'll throw it across to one of our boys out there racing and doing their best tonight. And let's go to the series organiser. Greg, how was the opening couple of corners for you, mate?
Mate, I got to turn 1 and I thought I was in peak hour traffic in Sydney.
Yeah.
We literally stopped.
Yeah, but, you know, there's a bit of credit to that. It looks like most cars are still running. Scotty Baker's just dropped down the order, but he was facing the wrong way. But you're in P7, upper position. We've got a bit of movement in front too. You've got to just have your eyes forward for this first lap. This is Scary Chicane, mate, under the bridge. What sort of Ks are we pulling here? A couple of 100 k per hour in an MX5?
Yeah, just shy of 200 Ks.
Hard on the brakes. We'll let him concentrate here. There's movement in front, sideways, one of the 86 cars. That would have made you pucker up, but as you come out there at the final part of the Ascari chicane, now we head towards the Parabolica. It's Draft City out there. There are cars all over other cars, and 2 wide. It's 2x2 as Ray Harrison goes alongside here. Bloxham drops back a position again, and wow, the mid-pack here flat out and busy. We look to Mark Foster to see how he's going out there as Philsell crosses the line the first lap, only half a second shy of P2, so the draft is going to bring him back into it. Foster sitting in 12th place now. He's at a real busy battle, and he's almost 3 wide here with a couple of 86s. I know it's tough to commentate and drive at the same time. We'll let him get through the braking zone first. They're dicing in front, but Mark, this is pretty crazy to watch, this sort of high-speed battling in the 86s.
Tactic, that's for sure. Cody and Ben definitely had a better run on me there, and I've lost a fair few spots off the line, so it's just a matter of trying to stay in the draft now and not lose it, because I think I've got 3 seconds behind me, so if I lose this draft, then it's going to be a lonely race for me.
Mate, looking good though. The car looks beautiful. Tell me what that green is. It's not a traditional green you got on that car.
It's like a lime spider kind of green, I suppose. It's not based on anything. I liked. There's a new Skoda that I've got. I don't have it, but I really like. It's a very straight green, and I try to base it off that. So I like it to stand out a little bit. I like things to be a little bit different.
Oh, we got big crashes. We'll just butt in for a second there. Ruben Borst is one of them who's snuck through, but I think it's Gogol facing the wrong way. And who else is there? Scott Baker gone off again, I think. So Baker's in the wars.
The guy went off because spun in front of me.
Stephen Burchnell's also backwards in the wall. A little bit of damage on his car, so he'll creep away to get back to the pits. And Phillips also in the wars. He comes back on rallycross style. Philip Paradiso for the KP Tech racing car, back to 36 now. So back of the field, plenty of damage and a long way to go. We've still got 25 minutes in the race. Let's go back to the top 3 though, because this battle is heating up. I think I thought last week I need to get one of those old 80s Sega "he's heating up" little voice tags to come on when we go into these battles, because I tell you what, Ryan Casher, he's taken it to one of the best sim racers in the history of sim racing here. Jared Philsell, Casher, currently all over him. And bump drafting him as well. There's heaps of contact. In fact, all 3 of them now are bump drafting as Boyd, new fastest lap of the race. He's tucked in behind Casher and Philsell. He can feel himself going straight to the lead of this one soon. Ryan Crasher, says Hunter Rob. I don't think so. Whoa, big moment there for Jack Boyd though. Lost the back end as he came out of the chicane and loses all that momentum. In fact, that cost him 2 seconds straight up. So Philsell and Casher sneak away. Lee Harrison closes in on Jack Boyd. Then you've got Oliver further back. Damien Seeger up 5 spots, started well. And Moz behind him and Keith Logan, your top 8. Good to see Keith consistently now running in that top 8. Behind them, it's Matty T and Ben Snell locked in this battle. We'll jump on board with Ben Snell and just watch him. The man with the big beard, the Ned Kelly of the Roadster Rumble. Ben Snell, into the back of Matty T. Matty T all over the place. As Snell's got an overlap here. He's going to go to the first of the Lesbos side by side. How good is the livery, by the way, on Matty T's car? You could brush your teeth and do your hair in that in the morning. It is so reflective and shiny. Matty T, let me get this car into my bathroom, mate. It would be the best mirror out there. Look at that. That is incredible. Credit to iRacing too. These liveries, gee whiz, they pop. But that is the shiniest looking livery I've ever seen.
All chrome.
All chrome. Looks like he's taken that to the big industrial chrome dipper and just driven the car in. And then they've plucked it out with one of those big magnet cranes, and then they've stuck it on the racetrack. It looks fantastic. One thing I've got no idea how to do is to do a livery like that, and I used to pride myself on being able to do the old livery, but I would have no idea where to start. That's incredible.
We'll have to get you along to a couple of lessons, Luke.
Do you do some little training painting nights or anything?
Yeah, most of the boys now do their liveries. Anthony, I gave a couple of quick lessons to. Damien Seeger, I've sort of shown how to do. Wayne Losh is the latest one to start doing his own. So
very good.
It's a bit of a sidekick for the league.
It does make it fun, and obviously some of these guys are real world sponsors. Some of them just make-believe sponsors. It's really cool though to see all the different colours on the cars. They stand out. It's fantastic as Casher still puts pressure here on Jared Philsell, 0.5 of a second at the front. And you've got to remember the whole time Jared out in front here is pushing a hole through the air. It's costing him more fuel than Ryan, and this is where Ryan might get a little bit of a dividend later on tonight. He'll know that 7 minutes in, the fuel stop probably about another 7 minutes away yet, as we see a battle with Wilson and Harrison further back in the pack. Bailey Wilson, quite a newcomer to the series, isn't he, Greg? He's only been a couple of races in.
Yep. Yeah, he's another one of the Tassie boys that have joined us.
Yep. Oh, rubbing paint there with Andrew Roberts, I think it was. So there's a bit of dinging going on down the pit straight, but as it stands, Andrew Roberts does end up coming in first for Frog Elite Racing. We look out the back of his car and he lights it up. Oh, and a spinner in the background. That was Ray Harrison. He's done a 180 degrees and thought I'll point that back towards the pits. Not ideal. Loses a couple of positions and loses a stack of time. Is now up the front. Must be a Harrison lap. We've got another Harrison off the track. Lee Harrison just went wide, so he's also dropped off. Now, Greg, 15 points, a bit of a difference tonight in the penalty limit.
Yeah, so I've dropped the limit to 15 on iRacing, but the actual limit now is 10. So I'm actually clamping down on some of the faster boys who we've known for a long time. They put the odd off track in their pocket for the last few laps.
Yep.
So I've left it at 15 because, as I found out tonight, I copped 4 at turn 1 because the guy behind didn't see the brake lights. So,
what do you mean about that? Keep it in their pocket. Expand on that a little bit, because that's probably something that not a lot of people know.
So when got a car on its side. So what happens is we set a limit, and a lot of the faster boys put them.
Oh no! Sorry.
Put them in his pocket, and so last couple of laps, they can afford to run the odd off track here and there to try and make up a few positions. So we've just sort of tightened up a little bit.
Yeah, right. Just hang on. I'll just butt in there for a sec because I'm not sure what's going on. There's a bit of a parking lot going on there with Mark Foster. What's going on down there, mate? You got big damage.
Yeah, Matty T just had a bit of a moment coming into the last corner, and I couldn't avoid him. So I'm just making my way back into the pits now for a repair and some fuel.
See if we can get a replay of that, mate. We'll see what happened here. So it was down into the Parabolica. Probably the best place if you're going to have an accident is down here. But we're just looking now. Yeah, Matty T lost it big time, and you've wiped half the chrome off his car, and he's wiped your car out completely as well.
Yeah, it was a bit unlucky for both of us. I just picked the wrong way to go.
Yeah, it's always a 50-50 that one, but yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
and then I just noticed that I went too far forward in the pit lane, so now I'm good.
That hurts. 5 laps in, 10 minutes gone. We're a third of the race distance underway, and it's a two-horse race at the front with Phil Selkasha now 3.5 seconds clear of the field, and further back you got Jack Boyd, who has really just been paying for that incident that he had. He lit up the rear tyres a couple of laps ago. Hasn't been able to recover. In fact, he's lost the toe, and that's what it will be. And there's a chance here that Lee Harrison and Aaron Oliver, who are running together here, may be able to push up onto the back of Jack Boyd if they can work together. Bit of bump drafting, they might just sneak up onto the back of Jack for Boyd Racing. But I tell you what, a good runner in the top 10, Ben Snell, up 8 spots into 7th now. He's moving nicely. And a couple of other shout-outs. 21 positions for Andrew Roberts up into the top 18. 17 for Bailey Wilson as well. A couple of the newbies having a good run. Darren Linus is up 16 into 16. So good drive. He's doing very, very well.
How's our mate Mr. Connors doing, Luke? He's very quiet, I've noticed.
Very quiet.
He's in a slipstream battle here, I think, with Tyson Gordon. So he's just pulling out, having a bit of a look. He might not be one that can chat and pull off the overtakes. We'll find out in a second.
I've got it, but just trying to play my little game.
Yeah. Good job.
No. That's all right. Just trying to save a bit of fuel. Let him go back past, and I'll save fuel on the next lap.
So you're sort of just doing some dress rehearsals for an overtake later in the race?
Kind of, mate. I'm just trying to pick his spots where I can pick up on him where I'm quicker. He's quicker in some spots than me. Yeah. And it's just trying not to touch him. I'm trying to go for that 0x as well. I'm trying to force him into a mistake. He runs deep into turn 1, into the chicane there. If I show my nose a bit, and he goes a bit deeper, so I might show him the last couple, show the nose a bit more.
Car looks good out there, mate, and he's just pulled away a little bit there, just the gap back out to 7/10 of a second there. This is, by the way, first and second in class. Tyson Gordon leading the MX5 class tonight in 9th outright. Anthony Connors, who's on the mic with us, P2 in class. So good job, guys. And Greg, you've slipped up into P3 now in class, so that's nice.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys have pitted already, though. Oh, Boydie spun in front of me.
We're on board. We can see Boyd to the right of your screen. He's going to have to rejoin here safely, which he does. Nice job, but that was off the track Glenn Boyd. So didn't qualify so well tonight, Glenn, and he's just having some little issues here as he goes now wheel to wheel with Glenn Ellis. It is around the outside, and they hold their own straight line speed. Should go there in the favour of the 86, but it doesn't. So Graham Ellis hangs on to 12th place. Glenn Boyd now back to 13th. So we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 for the MX5s. 9th back to 12th in the list here. Doing very, very well. A couple of drivers that have unfortunately had not the best run tonight. Matty T is one of them, back in 28th. And also Mark Foster, who's with us. He's now down in 32nd place. Mark, 22 spots you've lost.
Yeah, that hurts. Yeah, well, the crash with Matty T, and then I missed my pit box and didn't realise I was actually too far forward to get my fast repair of fuel. So that lost me another 6 or 7 seconds. So now I'm just having a bit of a lonely race for the rest of it.
It's a double whammy as we're on board here with Jared Phil. So looking back, he's getting bumped and bumped again by Ryan Casher, who's really keeping him honest. We've got a car around there at the first chicane as well. That was a hairy little moment, but yeah, wow, Jared Philsell under some pressure still. I wonder if Philsell at some point will think, right, I'm just going to let this Ryan guy go in front and he can save a bit of fuel for me. At this stage, Phil Sell's just worn it. He's gone, right, I'm going to leave from the front, but here we go once again. Phil Sell even positioning the car slightly to the left there, just discouraging any kind of look down the inside as, oh, Kasha put the wheel on the grass. He saw the way the car twitched. Mr. Twong there, or Mr. Wong I should say, is what's on the side of his car. But he almost twonged it right off the track there, so a little bit of a scary moment. Oh, there's battles back in the pack too. It's Bard Rodkin we haven't spoken about yet tonight. I know there's a couple of Rodkin's friends watching in tonight. Hello to the friends and family that do tune in, but Bard is up 9 now into 24th, just ahead here of Reese, and Matty T is trying to find his way back into the battle. So, Greg, it's busy out there. It's a big racetrack for little cars, but it's, well, busy enough.
It's especially when the pit stop starts, because I just look behind me in my relative and I see I got guys like Aaron Oliver, Damien Seeger.
Mega.
Graham's giving me a bit of a hurry up too. Yeah, might have messed up a corner back there.
Right, so the battle of the walking frames.
He's settled down, young fella.
Very good. So Phil Sell still leads this one. He has not been able to get away at the halfway point yet to stop these two drivers. So we'll stay with them, and let's see this time if Ryan's still using the Morse code on the bumper bar. We'll ride on board and have a listen. He has pretty much every other lap, so I wouldn't expect anything different right now. So he's just leaning on the back bumper bar. You can hear that, and that helps. It pushes the RPM up for the other driver. It helps them, you know, pull further away, and they've got that gap out to 4.8 seconds now. So the two of them looking pretty indestructible at this stage of the race, and you know, they're just going to help each other. There's an unwritten code about this sort of thing, isn't there?
Yeah, there's no reason for them to fight each other with so long to go in the race, so they'll just try and stretch their lead and then leave it all to the last lap, I think.
Well, it's looking pretty good. So obviously Ellis now leads the Class B. I'm just checking if he's yet to stop. I think he is yet to stop. So he's moved up now 22 spots. A bit artificial, that one. So we'll see him in the pits shortly. We've got Gordon, Connors, Holmes and Linus all in the pit lane. This battle at the front, I'm just interested to watch when they're going to switch around, if they're going to switch around. Otherwise, Phil Sell will lead us into the pits, and we'll see how much less fuel over the space of the last 16 minutes. How much less fuel Ryan Kasha can take. Will that be the difference tonight to get him home? I got a feeling even if Phil Sell is P2 after this pit stop, it'll be still hard to beat. He's a genius, this guy, in any car around a track like this.
Yeah, they're just next level, those two. Especially while on this track tonight anyway, it seems.
Gap's nearly 5 seconds now, so the top two walking away. Scotty Baker's back out. He's had a few little incidents tonight. He's pointing in the right direction now, but fighting back in 10th in class. So, and he's just got a position off Bard, so that puts him up to 9th in class. So we're happy with that. Top 10 in class, always one to tick off the books at the end of the night. But it's oh, we got Oliver around, have we? No, we don't. Just going off track. So the off-track points, I tell you, I've seen a lot of red flick up for these off-tracks. Do you get any indication, Greg, on the fly of where people are at, or is it monitored just by iRacing?
No, it's monitored by iRacing, so then we'll go over the replay at some stage and just double check.
I got to say, just quickly butting, because Jared Philsell just threw the absolute dummy to the pit lane, and Ryan Kasha took it. He took it. He went into the pits at the last second. Philsell darted back out onto the racetrack. So there's some good games going on. So Philsell will continue. Kasha, Boyd, Harrison and Snell all have come into the pits. And this lap for Jared is going to have to be absolutely perfect. We're right on board with him once again. So just keep an eye on Philsell. And obviously it's going to be a minute or two until we see this play out and see where he ends up. But you know, the pit stop counter won't lie here. The few drivers behind have got their job done now. If Philsell has any sort of error, you know, if he misses his pit box or he speeds in the pits, it'll be very, very costly. He needs to make sure he finishes this lap, puts in a cracker of a time, and then obviously gets a perfect pit stop away, which isn't always the easiest thing to do. So at the moment, it's only Jared that hasn't stopped in this whole race. And in fact, Stephen Kennedy down in 28th, he had to pull into the pits too. He's leaving it to the last minute, but we're 18, nearly 19 minutes in now. The red lights will be on. It'll be flashing out of fuel, Jared, and he'll be in this lap, no doubt. So Phil Sell, the gap's 30.8 seconds. So the one we're watching, I'm just going to highlight here with the big pink arrow. This is the man we're watching, Jared Philsell, and he's going to be heading in shortly. And then Ryan Casher is the man P2. Watch him because it's going to be very interesting to see if Ryan can jump through ahead of him here. Now the time in the pit lane, we'll have a quick look at that shortly as well, to see what the difference is. As this time Phil Sell, he's already practiced coming into the pits once. This time he actually does come in and he'll make his stop. We'll flick back to Ryan Casher and see where he is. He's just coming down to the parabolica. Now he's getting a little bit of assistance too off that car in front. That'll help him nicely. The gap 30 seconds, and I'll tell you shortly what the difference is going to be when they come back out again. In fact, let's ride on board with Casher. Through that final corner onto the pit straight, takes that wide line. If you get a little bit of a berm as well off the green stuff as you come onto the pit straight, he goes right up against the wall as if you're trying to set a hot lap. So he's taken the shortest route he can. Phil Sell, I think, has jumped off the blocks and he's back out into the racetrack. So Phil Sell has done well, but he's only going at about 100 kph now as Casher closes in, but I think he's done enough. So there you go. Jared, somehow, even though he's led from the get-go, has managed to get in and get out again without taking more fuel on board. Interesting. Let's have a look at the pit time and see how long he was actually stationary in the box. 9 seconds for Phil Sell, 12.1 for Ryan, and Boyd 10.1. So how on earth has Phil Sell managed to put less fuel in the car than anyone? I will never know. Wonder if he thinks he can put less fuel in and just manage it from out in front. That could be a ploy to block in the right place and not let, Ryan through. But at some point, Ryan's going to be back up on his tail, and Phil Sell might only be able to go 9/10 for the last couple of laps of this race. Could be a key little...
Depends how much he's saved in the...
Yeah, he's been leading though, that's the thing. You would think he would have saved less than Ryan, that's what I'm thinking. But who knows? He's a magician. A wizard,
wow.
maybe a wizard.
Come on, guys. It's not that hard to read the rules.
It's got interesting. Jesse's in third now, right behind me.
Yeah. I mean, he's had a Toyota 86 make it 3 wide into turn 1.
You just keep fighting so I can get back up to you, Greg. That'd be nice.
Oh, Matty T is, yeah, he's determined that.
It does look a bit busy up there, that's for sure.
Oh, he's off track. Uh-oh.
Oh my!
So Matt T runs wide through there. You can see the different lines drivers are taking. Ellis in front. Matt T then home. So we're looking at 5th place Graham Ellis here in class. He's 18th outright. He's got a trail of cars behind him now, so he's got to be careful. Look at the speed difference here, the 86. And in the tow there, Greg Holmes with a great run as well. Getting the double tow now, stays behind the MX-5. That might just put Matty T behind him into the Ascari chicane. So they get on the brakes shortly and up on the outside. No, Matty T comes back. Ellis will be on the inside. This will be toe and toe between there. And look at that, Matty T. I don't think Ellis really put up too much of a fight there in the end. He said, you can have that place, mate. I'll just hang back. As in the background, Reese also jumps up on the curb. That car looked a little bit unsettled as he got onto the straightaway.
I might have moved across slightly just to discourage Reese from making it 4 wide.
Okay, we're back to the front, jumping up over the curve. So Casher has got in front of Phil Sell. Now to me that indicates that Phil Sell's got fuel issues, or he's trying to save now. He knows he can't lead this from the front. He's taken a fair bit less fuel on board, so it was a couple of seconds. In fact, Jared's taken the least fuel out of everyone in this whole race with a 9-second stop. So he's definitely going to have to play the game here. He's 4/10 now. He's dropping back further. and we'll see how much that changes over the next lap or two. He'll have no doubt a program if it's IR Pit Crew or one of those fuel programs that tells you what you've got to save per lap to at least bring it to the finish. He'll have a number he's got to try and hit at the moment, and you can tell straight away he's having to do just that. The draft will help him out, and he stays with Casher, pulls within 3/10 again. So it's going to be cat and mouse at the end. They'll be looking forward. They'll see on their relative there's some lap cars coming up, and they'll be relishing any chance they can to have those lap cars just assist slightly, as you can see right now. One of the MX-5s, in fact a couple of MX-5s up the road will be helping with the tow. Phil Cell brings it back to 2/10 of a second though, and it's going to yo-yo. I think this next big long straightaway is where we'll see Casher once again just pull out slightly completely different lines through the final corner between the two drivers. As we've got a car in the pit lane is Ruben Borst in again for a second stop. Aaron Maguire seems to have not played much part in tonight's racing. The battle for fifth, this one here, Lee Harrison, Damien Seeger. They've got Aaron Oliver just in front, too wide again between these competitors. And look at that, what a great shot from above. You can see 2 by 2, and the teammates there trying to help each other out as Oliver goes through. Moz goes ahead of Harrison now, and Snell in the background watching all of this thinking, all right, one of you guys needs to trip up here so I can bring my big bush beard right through and come up into fifth. One day. Side by side. Oh, up on 2 wheels and sideways for Aaron Oliver. That'll lose him heaps of momentum. And up on the grass. How about that? Harrison took to the grass and he said, well, you've lost all your momentum. I'm going to go round you on the green stuff. That was a bit sketchy and a little bit exciting. He would have lost some points for that, but all in all, he kept it pointing in the right direction, which is the main thing. But exciting stuff back in the pack. We've only got 4 minutes to go. It's time certain this race. It's a half-hour race, 1 of 2. Another race straight after this one. And wow, the 26 car there, putting on an absolute show. So let's just run through the top 10 quickly. It's still Ryan Casher leading 0.4 of a second over Jared Philsell. Then it's Jack Boyd, first of the Boyds in P3, ahead of Damien Seeger, who's running 4th, up 7 spots. Great drive tonight from Damien in this first race for WBT. Got the new Pizza Hut livery on tonight. That looks nice and fresh. Feel like a bit of pizza. That would be lovely. Moz sitting in 5th. He's for DC Racing, started 5th, running 5th. Aaron Oliver also started 6th, running 6th. And ahead of Lee Harrison, running 7th. And it's Snell, Harrison and Losh. Running out your top 10, we look to the top Group B class driver. It is this man, Tyson Gordon, for the Taps NT Racing car. Looking good. The livery pops on that car as well. Fantastic. So the 54 sitting nicely in first place outright in class. Not outright in the race because that's Casher, but sitting very nicely for some good championship points in Class B at the moment, ahead of Jesse in P2 and Anthony Connors, your top 3. Anthony, how are you going? You're with us. You're in a good points position here, P3.
Yeah, no, going all right. Just trying to, I think I'm going to be tight on fuel, so Jesse's been trying to go, but she had a bit of a run-in with Henry back there before, which let Tyson get away there. Oh, sketchy through there.
So tight on fuel, are you using some sort of app just to judge your fueling tonight?
Yeah, I should be right. Oh, no, I'm looking at the wrong time, mate. I'll be fine on fuel. I've saved heaps.
Lift and coast, I guess, is the main way to save, is it? Or just try and...
Yeah, lift off a bit earlier when you're in the tow and... Sorry, mate. Try. Yeah, just lift off a bit earlier because you got the tow, you got the draft that's going to pull you along, so you can just back out of it a bit early and just coast behind them because you're always going to pull them on the next straight because of the long straight. So the draft's unreal here, like just pulling Jesse back in now. Oh.
We're looking at the front battle right now with Casher too. The gap between himself and Phil, so back to 0.2 of a second. We're going to stay with this now probably for the next couple of minutes as we finish out this race. We'll keep an eye on this, and if Phil Cell is going to make a last-ditch effort to sneak in front, just drops back to 4/10 again. So it's a massive yo-yo, these two, and we've got battles back with Matty T and Hodges as well, back in 17th place. There's Matty Curtis sitting behind him, Graham Ellis and Greg Holmes back in 20th place, top 20. Reese 21st, up 2 positions. Darren Linus up 9 into 23rd. Not a bad effort from him. And John Thorne, we haven't spoken about tonight, but John for APTR Motorsport, great livery on that car, sits back in 26th, but he has made up 12 positions in the race, so good drive by him tonight. But like I said, let's hang back with this top battle. They will do one more lap in the race. White flag about to drop, and it will be Ryan Casher that leads us onto the pit straight for the last time here tonight in race 1. And can he hang on from that position? If you were to put a bet out now, hanging on or losing it to Phil Sell, which way would you go, boys?
Phil Sell.
I was going to say Phil Still, he's in the right spot. He's where he wants to be.
Well, he's pushing.
I'll go Casher just to mix it up.
He's pushing. He's not going for the overtake just yet. We'll see shortly how aggressive Ryan wants to be on the brakes as Phil Sell looks to the inside, dives down. Cash is still going to turn in. They go side by side through the first chicane. And, Phil Sell right into the back of Ryan. We saw inside the bonnet there. That's how close he was. And Casher pulls away, but Phil Sell hot on his tail. And, wow, that was close between them. We're going to see this, I think, right to the end of the race. Will Phil Sell try and get behind him, bump draft him down to the parabolica, and then run out of the final corner? He's once again bump drafting, and he pulls out of the slipstream, and he'll try down the inside again. Here we go. Phil Sell to the inside. Casher tries to block. Phil Sell gets a little bit loose on the way in. Casher once again up on two wheels. This is fantastic driving between these top two competitors. And, they move across. Phil Sell dives to the left, trying to go the long way around the first of the two Lesmos. Not this time, he says. He tucks back in behind. Flash of the headlights as he gets right up behind these 286s, battling it out like we've never seen before. This track absolutely perfect for these two cars. And now we go towards that Ascari chicane. This time Phil Sell drops back a couple of tenths. The draft brings him right back into contention though, and he's got to make some really sound decisions now. Phil Sell. Casher goes defensive, just parks it on the left hand side of the track. Look at the speed Phil Sell's got. They're going to go too wide through the Ascari chicane, and so late on the brakes was Ryan Casher. Super late on the brakes, in fact. Wow, he's held on, but here we go. Now he'll park that car on the right-hand side of the track. He's going to make Phil Sell go the long way. Phil Sell will say, righto, thanks for the invitation, here I come. And Phil Sell does that. He side drafts him right down this straight. Now, Casher's only hope here is to just hang in there. And will he do so? We're going to see now into brakes. Wow, look at that, he does. Phil Sell will try the under it over. He'll try the crossback. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be close. It's going to be a run to the line. Phil Sell looks good as he exits. He's going to get pushed to the right here. Casher will do everything he can to try and hold him, but the checker flag drops as there's contact between them. Contact. Casher gets the win by 0.000. Wow. Wowee. We'll have to get the adjudicators to look at that one. There was contact to the line, but in the end, it is a win to Casher according to the scoring, but I will wait till iRacing looks further. Usually iRacing takes it to the furthest zero it can and finds out who the winner was. But that is a dead heat on my timing screen, giving the favour to Casher as we see Boyd come home in third, 4 seconds off the pace. We look back further to the battle of the MX-5s. It's coming down to the wire here too. Jesse just in front of Tyson Gordon. It's Jesse leading us into the parabolica. Gordon trying to do the same thing that Phil Sell did, and here we go. It's on between these two as well. Jesse has to just try and hold on. Exits the corner well, and a bit of movement there from Tyson. We'll try to go the long way towards the flag. It's going to be close, but I think it's going to go in the favour of Jesse by the narrowest margin, and it does. 0.02 of a second between them. So wow, what a finish to those two races within the one race. Class A, nothing in it. Class B, absolutely nothing in it. Here's a look at the replay for the top two running to the line. We'll see if we can get a good camera shot here of the overhead as they cross the line, and we'll back it up a little bit as well. So I think you're going to find it goes in the favour of Casher. What do you reckon at home, folks? How close was it? We'll find out in a sec.
Great call, Luke. I forgot I was racing for a minute listening to that.
Right, so here's a look now. Now remember, it is the first checker line is where they call the win. It's not where you start from, it's where you finish. And there was definitely some bumping towards the end there. And we'll try and get an above camera here. That's not going to work for us. Let's see if we can get something else. This one's I think the shot. So you can see Phil Sell ran right down the pit wall. Not much room there. Ryan came across and gave him a bit of attention to the door. Not sure if the stewards might look at that and maybe question the sportsmanship in that, because to the line there is nothing at all in that, but there was definitely a bit of a door attention, a bit of unofficial sign writing going on there. And let's have a look at the results from iRacing and see which way it plays out in the rule book or in the iRacing eyes. Anyway, gives it to Ryan Casher. Look at that. I don't think I've ever seen a 0.000 win. That's a dead heat to me. So it's Ryan Casher beats Jared Philsell and Jack Boyd, your top three. So we'll have a chat to them and we'll get their thoughts on it, hopefully if they pop into the green room. But how did you boys all finish up? Mark, you're very quiet. Anthony's been quiet too. And Greg, you finished up there in the points for your... Did you get points? No, you didn't. Outside the top three.
No, mate, it's seems to be a bit of a thing these days. Last lap, goal. Just, yeah, probably best I don't comment anymore.
Fair enough. We looked down the order, so we should have a quick mention. We see right to the back of the field. 39 cars out there tonight. Let's just go to group... we'll just go have a look at Group B first of all, and the MX-5s. The staple of the Roadster Rumble. Jesse got the win by 0.02 of a second over Tyson Gordon. Anthony Connors, well done, mate. Coming home in P3, you got to be pretty happy with that. Good points.
Yeah, I had a few mistakes in there and battling him with a 86. I couldn't really get around him, so and just held me up a little bit. So, and then once you lose that toe, you can't really pull them back in. So that's the hard part. You lose that toe and you're sitting duck by yourself.
Yep, and let's have a look at the Group A results as well as we bring Damien in for a quick chat. But it was, like I said, a win to Ryan Casher by the narrowest of margins. Now what's happened here? It's just thrown everything out the window. So let's just go overall for the results.
Good, I didn't say I predicted that result as well very early on that Casher was going to win that.
You did predict it? Yeah, he did.
It's the only win I'll have tonight, so I'll go with that one, thanks.
Damien's joined us for a quick chat. Damien, how you going, mate? 7th outright in that race there for WBT. How'd you feel, mate? 19 seconds off the leader, though. Those guys at the front just walked away.
Yeah, those guys up front are absolutely crazy, aren't they? I think they're running low 211s, and I think I could only average maybe a high 212, so it's pretty embarrassing, actually. But, yeah, managed the 7th place. I think for a fair chunk of the race, I was sitting in 4th, so it felt pretty good. But on to the next one. I think I got a P2 this time, and maybe Ben Snell might be on P1.
Nice, mate. We'll come back shortly with the grid, and we'll go to race 2 in about 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm going to take a quick break myself. Thanks, Damien, for popping in. Might chat to you a bit later, and the other boys have just jumped out for a break too. So I've realised I also need a couple of minutes in the middle of these races to catch my breath. It's just catch my breath, mate. I don't need the bathroom. Just got to catch my breath and get a drink. So I'll top my drink up. We'll be back with you shortly in about 2 minutes' time. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Righto, part 2 of the evening almost upon us, about 3 minutes left in this practice session. Welcome to Race Stars TV. My name is Luke, and you're watching the Roadster Rumble tonight. We've got a fair bit on this week as we see Lee Harrison. Not sure if he's practicing a start there or practicing a burnout. But yeah, a fair bit on this week with, once again, tomorrow night being F3A for round number, I think it's 4 of their series. And then we head off to the final round which is the final round of the qualifying series for the Pro Invitational on Wednesday night. So you can tune into all of that at RSTVAU, our brand new YouTube channel. So make sure you head across and subscribe to that now as we see Tyson out there. Great job by Tyson, as was indicated over on the chat there. I was just reading a couple of the nice chat comments, but Bianca Gordon saying, nice podium finish, Mr. Tyson Gordon. Must be all the practice with a blue smiley face. It just tells me a face blue smiling. It doesn't actually give me the face. But yeah, good job, man. That's a fantastic performance. And well done in the Taps NT Racing car. A few people have asked me what my setup looks like. And I'm going to give you a quick squeeze because people have been asking. There you go. There's a shot at the broadcast studio, just so you wonder. For those that wonder what sort of gear I've got, that's my setup for a regular night of racing. And it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work and a lot of effort goes into making a broadcast like that. So that's the studio for Race Stars TV at the moment, where I sit and do all this a couple of nights a week, 3 nights a week. So there you go. Hopefully that paints the picture of what's going on. And there is a lot going on. A lot going on. So trialing a few new things at the moment too. Some of you might have already noticed a little bit of the ability to squiggle on the screen. So you might see a little bit of that throughout the evening or at certain times. And if at any point you see this little guy come out and draw a circle like this, well, there's something new for Race Stars TV, isn't it? So keep an eye out for that. We'll be able to point some things out for you, which might be handy, you know, when we're talking about a certain situation. And I want to say to you, right, the guy to watch is this guy here, Tyson Gordon. There you go. We can highlight that for you on the screen. So always trying to expand, make this thing better. I did trial something similar to this. Would have been 2 years ago. Fell by the wayside, but hey, we'll try everything a couple of times until we innovate and get better and better. So looking forward to the rest of this week as well. Make sure you've subscribed to YouTube. Like I said, we've had to build up, start again from scratch, and massive appreciation to everyone that's been clicking away and subscribing and tuning in, watching the videos on Facebook and of course over on Twitch, as well as our YouTube channel. So hit that subscribe button and the racing will continue to come. We've got some fantastic new series as well, which I can't announce yet, but some big news coming up here on Race Stars TV soon. So yeah, keep an eye out. It's going to be an incredible year for us. Not as busy as I used to be, but we've cut back. We've got some fantastic stuff as I try and only do 3 nights a week. That's my limit. I had to set some limits. 7 nights a week was killing me. But here we are. Let's go down to the grid for our final race of the evening. It's a quick grid usually. This is how they will line up for the Roadster Rumble race number 2. And sitting on pole position and doing a wonderful job again. It was Wayne Losh, inverted top 8. This will be interesting down to turn 1. Siegel will start alongside him. Harrison starts from the 2nd row with Aaron Oliver. And it's Moz and Jack Boyd off the 3rd row. Phil Stell and Kasha. Will there be some love lost there as they run towards turn 1 side by side from row 4? Harrison, Logan, Boyd and Carriage to round out your top 12 on the grid. Let's get set to go racing. Let's get rid of the music. And let's race here for the Roadster Rumble. Race number 2. Watch for the smoke as they get away. Green light comes on. We get away. Well, at the back, someone's already pulled out of position to try and sneak ahead of the field. But we're 4 wide as we head down towards turn 1. And what a great sight that is. Nearly 38 competitors. I think, no, 39 competitors here on a Monday night. Racing down towards turn 1. The 86 is out in front. That inverted top 8. How are we going to go into the braking zone? There's someone out of control in the background. We've got cars in the fence. Further back, it was, I think Connors might have been one of them. Huge pile up back in the pack. And wow, that was really busy and a little bit clumsy as well. Loshy's got through. I think Wilson might have gone around as well. Cuthbertson, Harrison and Bloxham all involved in that crash. Wayne Losh got the perfect getaway in the Pizza Hut car. It's just like he's delivering a couple of pizzas here. And he's in a rush to do it, but he has got away well. But the rest of the field now in tow, chasing after him and trying to catch him up as quickly as possible. So crazy start to the race, and well, busy back in the pack as well as Phil Sell cuts his way through, makes up another position. gets himself ahead now of Moz and slides back into 4th place. In all that, Ryan Casher hasn't moved. Started 8th, stays 8th. So not the best start for him, but out in front, Losh hangs on from Seeger, and then you've got Jack Boyd always in the top 3, always challenging, and tonight he really needs to get himself a podium or a win as we sit here in round number 4 of this series. So Phil Sell on the charge, but watch Losh out in front, seeing if he can hang on here and lead the first lap of this Roadster Rumble. So the WBT have opted this new Pizza Hut livery for tonight. Looks great. I was always a fan of the WBT racing car livery, but now they're going 1-2. This will get them some good exposure, some good picture opportunity as well for their promo. They can get some snapshots when they go back to this replay later and use a couple of the snaps showing them leading the field into the parabolic here on lap 1. They're going to hang on to it too. Wayne Losh is going to lead this full first lap. He's going to come across the line 3/10 clear of his teammate as Jack Boyd connects to the rear bumper and starts pushing him along. We've once again joined in the broadcast booth Anthony Connors. Concentration to the limit on this first lap. Greg Holmes as well, concentrating hard, and Mark Foster as we cross the line. And here comes Jack Boyd. He's going to make a run for the lead here. Jack Boyd on the charge. Here he goes. Into the braking zone, hard on the brakes. A couple of WBT cars behind. And Moz was also making a move there. He's up 1 position ahead of Seeger. But Boyd leads us now. Phil Self straight up into P2. Well, that was a big move, and he's made up a stack of spots. He's made up 5 positions on the opening lap himself, and Boyd the same amount of positions each. We've got battles further in the pack. Look at this. Edwards chasing down Thorne, chasing down Aaron Maguire, who we didn't speak about in race 1. He's also opted for the Mega Chrome livery on that car. Very shiny, but look at the back end of that. Both those cars have been rearranged slightly in the back panels. Not the prettiest thing I've ever seen, but it looks like someone's taken a huge sledgehammer and given them a good whack from behind. No doubt it was another MX-5 they're doing the kiss and tell there at the back of that cars. Well, it's very quiet in the commentary booth, but I'll give them a chance to speak. I know I've like verbal diarrhea sometimes. Boys, who wants to speak first and who's having fun out there?
Oh, I wouldn't go fun. It's, oh, jeez. Yeah. Still, the tyres are still skatey as. And all the 86s have been like Snell and Glenn Boyd and Henry Fenton are all just coming past us in a straight line. I get a bit more straight line speed than us and a bit quicker in the corners, but...
Well, you've held position though, Anthony. You're, just as I say that, Fenton slips through on the inside and robs you of a position there. But yeah, you say cold tyres. It's 20 degrees out there on the track. Is that having a bit of a effect on the tyres tonight?
Yeah, we'll get the next lap up and we'll be right then. But then I'm just swarmed by Graham Ellis and my teammate Jesse.
I thought everyone loved the fact that the back end of these MX-5 moves around though. Isn't that half the fun?
Well, sometimes.
It is. I've parked it, by the way, Luke. I'm out this race.
I see that. Yeah, I just had a look at the bottom of the timing screen. I had to scroll down to see you, but you are down there at the bottom. That's sad. But mate, we're just watching this battle at the front. Just want to break in here because Lee Harrison under pressure from Casher, who he went nowhere in this race. But mate, was there any chit chat from the finish to the last race? Obviously, a dead heat gave the win to Casher. Did you review it, or will you review it? Did you see a bit of the contact with Phil Sell?
We'll have a look at it during the week.
Oh, a spinner, hang on. One of the WBT cars that was Wayne Losh went around there. He got bulldozed out of the way by Casher, but he's dropped right down the order now. Unfortunately for him, he lit up the rear tyres, which we see a fair bit in these 86s, and they go around. But yeah, sorry to butt in there, but just tell us the backstory to what happened in the break there.
We leave everything till everyone's had a chance to calm down, and it's really hard to, we've tried live race control at different times, but it's really difficult to call sometimes. So we let everything settle and then have a look at it a day or two afterwards and go through and work out what penalties should be applied from there.
I think that's a good point too. I mean, the heat of the moment sometimes, you can be too connected, or you can be wound up with what's happened on the track. I think leaving it a couple of days is so important to let the dust settle and then make a clear judgment without any emotion involved. But It is tight, is it? Like, it's funny, people go, oh, come on, you're just doing a racing game here, don't get so into it. But everyone is into it. Like, I remember when I used to do it too, you just get so, ingrained in what you do, immersed. Yeah, it's like, you forget that you're on a computer sim. You forget you're just sitting in the sim room or in the man cave by yourself. Mate, this is like you're really battling for these wins.
Yeah, for a lot of people, it's the only opportunity they get for the real race world. So, obviously with the gear and the equipment that you can buy these days, it's so easy to just absorb yourself into what you're doing. And sometimes, unfortunately, and people sort of look at running risks that you would probably not do in the real world, but the issue is that they're not real world races either. So it's a fine line.
They don't have the ouch factor. They've never actually had a shunt.
Yes, or the repair bill.
That's true. Yeah. I think that was. I remember doing the sports sedans broadcast, and it was always the thing that was brought up. Until you've had a repair bill, you have a different respect for the way you drive, because even one of these 86 cars, I can't imagine. You bend one of these in real life, it's not cheap to fix them.
Well, I actually, a guy a sim racer that I used to sort of chat to quite a bit, he was telling me he races 80s, and it's north of $100,000 to run a car for a season. So when you consider the overall speed, I mean, they're great to watch racing, but they're not the quickest cars in real life. That's a massive amount of money to have to find.
And I think Formula Ford's pretty similar to that. And then you step up to, a Porsche Carrera Cup or something like that. You're talking like 30K just for the weekend.
It's a bit more than that, mate.
Sorry, that was the tyre bill. I think I was just saying. Was it about tyres? 30K?
Yeah, it's funny because one of my good mates, he raced at Bathurst recently, but in the support category in the Formula Ford. And he races a historic Formula Ford, and he's absolutely chuffed because he got second place. And I said, but I watched the race, you finished 30th. He said, yeah, but there's that many categories that there was only 3 guys in his class. So, I mean, even the fact that he finished 30th at Bathurst, he's just absolutely wrapped. One, that he got to race at Bathurst, and two, that he beat at least one other guy home.
Yeah, I think you got to be wrapped anytime you get to set foot at Bathurst and do a few laps. That's for sure. It's what a credit, to everything you work for, really. And a lot of the time, your own hard money goes into that as well. It's not just, obviously, sponsors play a big portion of things, but a lot of the time, there's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of your own hard-earned money that makes you achieve anything in motorsport.
Especially in the grassroots categories. It's amazing just what sort of money needs to be invested, and like you said, a lot of that comes out of your own pocket.
Yep. Hey, we're just watching Lee Harrison, new fastest lap of the race there with a 2:11.2 in this little battle. We're watching also Snell and Glenn Boyd. Glenn Boyd back inside the top 10. He's made 4 positions up, but Ben Snell's impressive again, up 12 spots. And Snell, he's been thereabouts every week, not really fighting for the lead of the race, but he's well within this top 10 and embedded there now.
Yeah, he's definitely a top 10 runner in most cars on iRacing. He's actually very, very quick in open wheelers.
Yep.
He was always quick in the Mazdas in the early days as well. But he's come back and decided to race the 86. So it doesn't surprise me that he's sort of in the top 10.
He's driving well and beautifully turned out livery too. It's nice and plain, but simple. It's a true, as Dave Roberts in the FRG broadcast says, it's a real race car livery. That's you see that sort of livery in the real world, and it really looks nice. So yeah, some good racing out there right now. I just want to give a bit of credit to Anth Cuthbertson, who I don't think I've mentioned tonight. He's running 13th in the Stone Cold Racing MX5 now, up P3 in class, up 25 spots in the race. So doing well. The pit stop count for him is 0, and the first driver to have stopped, Damien Seeger, 15th. So he's trying a bit of an alternate strategy. Came in very early to try and throw something and run something different. Cody Harrison's done the same. So has Keith Logan and Matty T. Keith Logan, back in 19th, he had such a good start to the race, but he's just struggling in this race too. We'll see if he sort of bubbles to the top towards the end.
Has Keith pitted yet?
He has, yeah. So everyone from 19th down, which is Keith Logan, has pitted. And then you've got 15th and 16th, which is Damien Seeger and Cody Harrison have also pitted. So a lot of pit stops went in that early phase. It seems to be popular in race 1 as well. About the bottom half of the field, just dive into the pits and get it done, get it out of the way.
Yeah, I suppose it gets you out of traffic as well.
Yeah, that's what me and Jesse just did.
Yep.
Yeah, I had damage, so I had to pit, but I managed to make it to the end of lap 2, so I've taken my fuel and we'll see how we go.
How are you doing this race, Fozzie?
I'm 17th right now, Greg, so
Okay.
It was a bit hectic in the going into the first chicane, so I just got squeezed out and then hit a few people and had damage, so I lost about 25 k's down the straight in top line speed. So I'm just around a lot of Mazdas, but I'm miles off the pace.
I think turn 1 tonight in that second race looked like, you know when you see on YouTube those videos in an ice blizzard where on the freeway one car crashes and then they just keep piling in?
Yeah, that's exactly how
A bit
it
like
was.
that.
Yeah, I think the problem that we've always had with tracks like this, Luke, is that not everybody tends to brake. So there's a congestion ahead. Well, not a lot, but some drivers will see that as an opportunity to try and gain a few spots.
Yeah, right.
And of course, when the track's blocked, that just means that there's going to be some hard hits.
And that, Greg, is one criticism I have of iRacing, that we don't have local yellows, where, you know, if there was a crash like that, yellows would be thrown and you can't overtake. And that's, you know, they're talking about adding rain, they're talking about adding all these things in iRacing. Mate, local yellows to me is one of the key things for racing, because you're right, and I've been in series where, you know, there's certain guys that, you know, you back off because you want to try and avoid an accident, and you see them shoot down the inside and try and take about 10 positions. And, you know, it's risk versus reward. Sometimes it might work for you, other times it can just create more of an incident.
Just on that point, Luke, last week or the last time we raced, you mentioned that the Mazda didn't have headlights. Well, iRacing has listened to you and they've now given the Mazda headlights. So perhaps if you want to make a public announcement regarding local yellows, you seem to be the man that's getting the job done at the moment.
Well, there you go. So, let's see if we can get some local yellows involved. And, no worries. My ideas are always worth about $10,000 iRacing. That'll pay me back for all the tracks I've bought. That'd be fantastic. No, it's a love relationship here with iRacing. There's definitely no hate. It's all love. I've had over the years, I've had 4 commercial licenses with them when I had a sim racing business, and oh my god, did they charge for that?
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's great, and it's good that they're listing and always, you know, putting new things. You know, I've seen a few new tracks this week. One of the series of broadcasters going to a couple of new circuits in the Europe sort of scene. So, you know, they're progressing and new stuff's on its way. It's good.
We're off to a new track either next week or the week after. I can't remember now.
Which one?
We're off to Magny-Cours. So
Yep. Cool.
Save my money.
Yeah, I think
You gotta come back out, Greg.
Nah, mate, nah.
he's hung it up.
I'm hung out to dry.
I know, I'm watching you. Oh, here you go. Graham's just pulled out of the pit, so...
So just going through the classes at the moment, we've got Jack Boyd leading this one from Phil Sell out in front. They've pulled a bit of a gap now of 1.2 seconds on P3, Lee Harrison. Class B, Anth Cuthbertson having a fantastic run, but has not stopped yet. Second in his class, Aaron Maguire, also yet to stop. And third in class is Tyson Gordon, who could be on for a win tonight in Class B. Again, he's driving so well right at the moment behind Matty T, using the speed of that 86 to his advantage. And like driving a pearl of a race. So there's Matty T, there's Tyson just in behind. So looking good. The 54 car could be on for a victory here. This will be good for the end of this night.
I think the biggest problem for some of us this week, Luke, is that we actually jumped in and raced the Radicals last week at Le Mans.
Yeah.
And getting back in the Mazda is like, wow.
Like someone left the handbrake on.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, it loves to slide, whereas the Radical, it's either gripped up or it's not. There is no in between.
Yeah, I find them a little bit tedious. They tend to have that classic iRacing snap oversteer where you just can't catch no matter how good you are.
Yeah.
But they're fun to drive. I still love the Daytona. That's my favourite Radical on this server. It's on this system here. It's fantastic fun.
The only reason I keep going back to the Radical is it fits the Roadster Rumble profile so well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't have a roof.
That's it. Well, we need to chop the roof off these 86s, mate.
Yes, that's the next job.
Maybe iRacing will listen to me there as well. All right, Jared Filsell out in front of the gap, 0.2 of a second. We saw him push to the lead a couple of laps ago, and he'll want to revenge what happened in race 1. I know he's a great racer. He's fair. He loves his motorsport, but I think he'll feel a little bit hard done by the way he was pushed towards the line there. If he can get a win here, race 2, that'll just get him back on sole. We're missing someone tonight. Hobbo. Where's Hobbo?
Yeah, so Hobbo, unfortunately, is away for work. He sent me a message and said he was going to miss this week, and so he's off work. And Jared Hughes, who's another one, is actually over in the States. He went over for the Daytona. So
Yeah, right.
I think Jared actually went. I know he was a guest of Toyota with the 86 series, so I'm not sure if it was a prize that he collected or. But yeah, so he's been over and watched the Daytona.
Fantastic. Got a busy little battle here for 26th place. Now, people sometimes say, what's going on down the back of the field? Well, it's always battling. There's always busy little battles, right back to 30th, 35th position in this race. But this one in particular, 26, Bard Rodkin, Dave Goggle all over him in the 72 racing car. And they're going to go wheel to wheel. Now, right behind them, you got Phillip and Cameron also having a ding-dong. So it's always, I like pointing this out when you've got these battles way down the pack. It's not all just at the front. These guys probably having an absolute ball.
Oh,
Well, something happened there.
that was one place you picked up quite easily, Ant.
Yeah, something happened. Must have happened between Tyson and Matty T.
Oh, that's not good.
With fuel stops, it looks like Phil Sell stayed out again. So Harrison, Boyd and Boyd are coming into the pit. So Jack and Glenn Boyd both in the stop right now. Kasha has stopped, so we'll see where he pans out after all this. He's got Aaron Oliver right behind him as well. Phil Sell comes back out in the lead, and the lead's pretty decent. Phil Sell yet to stop. So Phil Sell's leading by 29 seconds. Last time it was about 30 seconds, and he was comfortably in front. But he did take a 9-second stop compared to everyone else taking about 11 seconds of stationary fuel. So we'll see if this time he wants to take a little bit more and be comfortable towards the end, because I think he had, after that fuel stop, he probably had 1 or 2 laps of fuel saving, which hindered him slightly in his progress forward.
I'm surprised it's taken Jack Boyd a little while to get his head around the 86s.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he was so quick in the MX-5, but you're right, it hasn't completely clicked for him. I wonder if he just hasn't got the time at the moment to learn this new car and learn all the nuances.
Yeah, I mean, the real racing season for him is about to get underway again, so there's always things happening in the real world, I suppose, that make it difficult to get a seat time in the sim, but it might be a good reason to go back to the Mazda again next season.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see someone like Jack in the Mazda and how far up he could get, up the order against the 86s.
Yeah, I've been hanging out to get a couple of the boys into the Mazda. Well, I was actually going to try that in the buy round, but unfortunately we just didn't have enough numbers to justify doing the car swaps.
Yep.
It would have been great to see how it unfolded, because I think those guys in a Mazda would be nearly as quick as the boys in the 86.
You could throw the whole thing on its head, and you could have all the fast drivers in the MX-5, all the slow drivers in the 86, and it'd be like an absolute melee.
Maybe we should do that for Bathurst. That'll keep you on your toes for the last round.
It would. We're just watching now Boyd coming down the pit straight. He has stopped Phil Sell in the pits. Let's see, he's coming out now, so it's going to be close. But Jared looks like he'll still have a couple of seconds in his back pocket here, at least 2 seconds into the braking zone. In fact, it's a bit less. It's coming down as hard on the brakes from a higher speed. It's 1.5 seconds Phil Sell has over Jack Boyd with 9 minutes to go. So, again, a decent stop from Jared. We'll have a quick look at the stats here. see how long he was stationary for, but he just seems to have it in the pocket when it comes to, you know, pit stops, fuel saving, knowing when to pit. He's just all over it, this man.
Yeah, he's certainly got a lot of experience, and it doesn't take him long to adapt to a new car.
8.5 seconds stationary too. So once again, he smoked everyone on the pit stop time. You know, 10.3 for Boyd, 11.5 for Harrison. There's your top three. Casher took 11.6. Oliver, 10.8. But you look at the time for Phil Cell. I mean, that's a full second quicker than the next shortest stop. Incredible.
I think, like you said, that he might have decided that no one's going to get a look in the second race.
Yeah, well, just to highlight what we're talking about here, so there's the 8.5. We'll just circle that there. That's the stationary time for Phil Cell. Then you look at, you know, Jack Boyd right below that, 10.3. So, you know, there's your 10.3 for Boyd. You got 11.5. You know, even these ones down here with Seeger, a 9.7. I mean, that's super quick. But then you look back at Phil Cell, 8.5. How? How?
Yeah, it's incredible, because the one thing I did notice tonight in race one when I did my pit stop, we do a practice, we have a practice session and a practice race on a Sunday evening.
Yep.
And so I deliberately looked at my stopped time in the pits last night, and tonight it was it was 3/10 slower. That's just actual time stopped.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure how iRacing calculates these things. It's not consistent.
Right. Okay. Interesting point. I do know these guys that are really, you know, elite. They get into the pit box right on a dime. I mean, they're at the pit limit right till the last second they just stop, and it does save them a lot of time in the pits. As we watch this battle between Seeger, Harrison, and Snell heating up. Snell might even look down the inside of both these guys here. He's going to have a run, and he might go straight up into 6. He does, so he gets a 2-for-1 deal off the Pizza Hut boy, and there you go, looking good. Now into P6. Snell up 13 spots in race 2. Great performance. 7 minutes to go. He'll strike that up as one of his best overtakes. Good drafting, good positioning of the car, and good execution under brakes.
How's the other WBT car going, Loshy, after his unfortunate?
Yeah, he hasn't really recovered. He's down 10 spots in 11th, so and not really in a huge fight. He's just behind Glenn Boyd, tucked up about 6/10 back, but hasn't been able to trouble the back of him. Where it's brewing is this one down in the bottom half of the field, down in 27th. Bard Rodkin, Jesse, who was right up there for race 1 in class, fighting here with Bard. Then you got Reese, Philip, Aaron, and Ruben, absolutely all over each other. This is a massive pack way down the back of MX5s, 5 or 6 of them. It looks like the Wiggles. We got a blue, a yellow, a green, a red, and a purple, all against each other here. And where's the big red car when you need it? They're going to fight, and that's cool. Good racing and nice clean driving. They get through there without incident. So, yeah, good battle way down the pack. So they're not giving up at the back.
No, there's always pride at stake.
And Jared leads us again around onto the pit straight. Just, going toe-to-toe here with Jack, but I just think he's holding back slightly. We'll see Jack once again engage with the slipstream. So watch this. He's closing, big long straightaway. And Boyd just does a 2:10 on that lap. And look at the closing speed as he hits the back of Phil Cell. He does a 2:10 on that lap to close right up onto the back of Jared. Hits him with quite a bit of force for the bump draft. Surely that gives you an X. That's quite a bit of a hit.
It would do, yeah.
So big slide from Jared as well. The back end of the car moving around, and wow, it's on here. 5 to go. We should get 3 laps in. So still a bit of work to do here. But Boyd, if he can stay in touch, he's really going to have to position the car well, into the parabolica. Maybe try and just get the edge on Phil Cell prior, because we saw Phil Cell in race 1. He had the speed to do it from behind. He got alongside, but any sort of rubbing, any sort of squeezing towards that pit wall, it does usually go against the driver on the inside. It slows him up. So, I don't think Jack will be that aggressive. I think he'll play a fair game with the run to the line, and I think the respect he would have for Jared as well is right up there. But Yeah, we'll wait and see when it gets to that. But right now, Philcell's just walked away half a second. So I think Philcell, when he needs to, he'll be able to really apply pressure.
Although I'm watching Jack now, and I've noticed Jack has been easing the brake on and off. So I think Jack is quite happy to see he's closed up again now.
Yeah.
But he has been touching the brake, so I think he's quite happy to leave a bit of a gap at this stage.
Oh, 100%. I think Jared too is driving a fuel a fuel limited race as well. Like, I mean, there's no way he can put that short amount of fuel in the car and then be out there 10 tenths now. He'll be 10 tenths where he needs to be, and then just backing off that throttle pedal, like into at the end of the straightaway or into a corner like this. He'll just be backing off slightly, letting himself save some fuel, and then reapply on exit to try and pull that bit of a gap. But he knows the game. He knows that the draft's so strong around here that there's no point. If Jack wants to go past him, he will, with this sort of power of the toe down the straight here at Monza. So he's just, probably now 80% throttle. He's probably happy. Jack's giving him a push. He's probably, right now when Jack's engaged in the back bumper, he's probably lifting off the throttle and saying, right, no worries, mate. Toot, let's drive me.
See, I thought that was coming.
Switcheroo, the old switcheroo.
Yeah, Jared's decided that he's a wake up to Jack, and Hobbo often comments on Jack's driving, his ability to sit behind and make everybody else do the work. It's interesting that Jared's switched.
With a lap and a half to go, so we'll only get one more lap after this. We're 27 and a half minutes in now, so. Yeah. It's building for another classic finish. I will flick through the field and have a look at some other battles quickly whilst we count the laps down. But there is Wayne Losh, who Greg alluded to before. Had a bit of a, started at the top of the order, but had that bit of a moment which dropped him back outside the top 10. He sits in 11th. A couple of other drivers racing. Billy Martindale, we haven't spoken about at all tonight, racing with Cameron Edwards down in 24th and 25th. So once again, it's a Toyota versus an MX-5. I love when you see these two battles. A battle between two makes of cars. That excites me.
Yeah, it's amazing that similar. Like they're so different, but so similar in lap times.
Yep. In fact, Edwards goes in the pits, so that's unscheduled stop for him. And then these guys, Philip, Dave Goggle, and others still battling way down the order. But as we run in towards the final couple of laps, we're going to head back to the front. And what's going on here? We got lap traffic. Boyd and Philcell going around one of the MX-5s here, and you hold your breath, don't you, at this moment?
Oh yes, definitely. But no, Jack's made it through.
Yeah, so hard on the brakes. They both get through on the lap car. So Boyd in front will lead us onto the white flag lap. 1 to go here from Monza in this round 4 of the Roadster Rumble Season 8. Greg, mate, Season 8, can you believe already?
I know, the time flies, doesn't it? It's it's been a bit of a roller coaster, that's for sure.
Mate, 39 cars again tonight. I always give you the chance to give people a plug if they want to watch, if they're watching and they want to get involved. Tell us how they do it, man.
Yeah, just jump onto Facebook, type in Roadster Rumble in the search bar, find our page, join the page, and just let us know that you're keen to get on board. I'm not going to give too much away, but there will be some big changes happening in the future, so there'll be even more opportunities for people to get involved. Don't sort of look at it and say, well, there's too many already, because I'm already working on a plan to sort of try and open it up a little bit and give a few more people an opportunity. So by all means, jump onto Facebook, look us up, and come and join the fun.
Yeah, awesome, man. It's such a good series as we watch Tyson Gordon crossing the line to start his last lap, leading his class by a good 8 seconds over Anthony, who's with us in the booth. So great racing here. Tyson looking like he's going to hang on for a win. But back to the front, half a lap to go. There's more lap traffic involved here, and it's still Jack Boyd leading by the narrowest of margins. This is where we're going to see Philcell, I think, work some magic. So we've got the Ascari chicane to go, then the straight down towards the Parabolica, and then we'll hit the checker flag. Put your bets in, guys. Who's going to be in front?
I think Philcell's well and truly.
So he lost out in race 1. He lost out. It was pretty similar to this. Here we go. So the run out of Ascari is good for both drivers. Pretty clean. And once again, Boyd, he'll park this on the right-hand side of the track. And I think as Jared starts to move to the left, he might walk him over there slightly. And he does. So now he moves him over to try and open up the corner the best he can. And he's got to be smart here, because will he try and hold Phil Sell on the outside, or will he let this happen? And it's the over and under the crisscross. Phil Sell comes back to the inside. Boyd slams the door shut, says, that's it, you're not coming through this way. Can you feel that? The door slammed in his face. The checker flag's going to drop, and it's going to be a Jack Boyd win by 0.3 of a second. Now, he did what Kasha should have done. As soon as Phil Sell went to the inside for the over and under, he slammed the door shut. That was a good, fair blocking manoeuvre, and Jack Boyd takes the win. Kasha comes home P3 in the end in class, 8.1 seconds off the lead of the race. And then it's Harrison, Oliver, Ben Snell, good drive up into 7th, up 12 spot. So he's the top 7 for him. Moz will come home 8th, ahead of Cody Harrison. Wayne Losh rounds out your top 10. We look back then to Tyson Gordon, who's just coming down towards the final corner now. And this will be a well-deserved win for Tyson. A 7-second lead over Connors, and he comes through that final corner, points it towards the checker flag, and he takes a win as well. So great job in the MX5 class B tonight for Gordon to take that win, and he'll be stoked. That's some good championship points, and Bianca, who's watching, will be absolutely thrilled. Give him a big pat on the back, Bianca. He's driven a great race tonight. Good job.
That's a fantastic effort from Tyson.
He's driven
Very
well.
well done.
Anthony gets P2. Anthony, good drive, mate. P2. Once again, good points, and you're ahead of Graham Ellis. A good shout out to Graham too. That's well deserved. P3 for Graham.
Wow, excellent.
Great result for Graham.
Yeah, yes, that's brilliant. Well done to my teammate.
Yeah. Well, very good. We'll have some interviews shortly with the drivers. We'll bring up the iRacing results as well as soon as they're made available for us. But all in all, Jack Boyd comes home with the win. We talked about it towards the end. Greg, you said it would be Phil Still on top. Well, he used his head. He was smart, probably used a lot of that real world experience, and he knew how to finish that race off and did it to precision.
Yeah, it's, I suppose points in the bag is still the best way to win a championship, isn't it? I mean, if you get involved in a did not finish, then yeah, it's very hard to win a championship. So I think both Jack and Jared are very clued up when it comes to what works best.
Yeah, no, great racing, and we've got him with us now, so we'll bring him in for a chat. Well done, Jack. You hung on at the end there against one of arguably one of the greatest races we got in sim racing, Jared Philsell. So made an incredible job, and I was just giving you credit there, and I'm sure when we talk to Jared he'll back this up, but you slammed the door shut, didn't give him a chance to sneak in for the crossover there at the end, and in the end that's probably what helped you take the win.
Yeah, I didn't want to be too mean to him because he's a good mate and all that, but yeah, we had a good race. I think he might have run out of fuel there at the end as well, but yeah, it was a good way to bounce back after I made a meal of the first race. So yeah, pretty happy with that.
Yeah, nice driving, mate. And obviously, you know, race 1 didn't go 100% to plan, but race 2, it's a good chance to bounce back and take that top spot and good championship points.
Yeah, for sure. That's a big positive of the format. I mean, if you have a bad run, you can obviously just, even with the invert top 8, that helps as well sometimes if you have a really bad run in the first race. So yeah, it was all good. Pressed on and yeah, come away with the win, which is good.
Yeah, fantastic. And Jared, we can't even talk about race 2 without talking about race 1. Nipped at the post there, probably feeling a bit hard done by it. Let's chat through that quickly and then we'll go to race 2.
Yeah, race 1 was cool. I came out in front with a healthy gap over Ryan, but unfortunately got held up with a back marker, which brought me right back to him. So yeah, I did all the hard work and saved a bit of fuel while leading, and somehow had an advantage coming out of the pits. But yeah, that was all for nothing really. So yeah, it was just about being smart and trying to position the car where it needed to be for the last lap. I probably didn't get as far over to the wall as I should have, but yeah, it's a dead heat, so it's a good race.
Man, it was great to watch. And then race 2, obviously, we saw that with the sort of switch around there towards the end, I think 2 laps to go, you had Jack, banging on your bumper bar down the pit straight, and then you said, right, that's enough, you can lead for a bit. Is that all fuel, related?
Yeah, I had dramas. Yeah, fuel was very, very short. I thought I could save enough while leading, but no, I needed that. Needed the draft there. Yeah, I ran out coming out of the last corner, so Yeah, couldn't do anything there. So Jack had a easy win there, although it wasn't really that easy. But yeah, I didn't have anything for him at the line there when the car spluttered before pit lane there. So yeah, no, that's all good. Yeah, just forgot to put that extra litre in the vehicle. So yeah, it's a bummer.
Mate, I think you were about a second and a half, shorter in the pit stop than anyone. So it was just a miscalculation, or what's the go there?
It was in between 10.5. It said 10.5 litres, so I opted to take 10.
Yep.
So it was half a litre difference, but yeah, just left it too long to save the fuel at the end there. My fuel save number kept creeping down, as in the required number to make it to the end. So yeah, that's why I made the switch. Probably should have done it earlier, but that's all good.
Fantastic racing. So I think we don't have Ryan with us, so we'll just do a quick couple of thank yous. Starting off with our race winner tonight in race 2. Jack, who would you like to thank, buddy?
Yeah, just thanks to Greg and team like always. Yourself for the broadcast, Jared and all the other guys up top for some clean racing. It's heaps of fun on Monday nights. Yeah, always look forward to it. Thanks, guys.
We love having you here, mate, and fantastic to see you on the top step again. Congratulations, Jack. Boyd, P2. Jared, who would you like to thank, mate?
Yeah, obviously the guys at SSR. It's unfortunate Hobbo couldn't join us tonight. Could have been cool having him in here.
Yeah.
Another regular to have a Barney with. So that's cool. Obviously Jordan with his continued support of all the fleet at SSR with Wave Runner Performance Center. It's great having him on the car, just represent his own business and his brand. So yeah, he does a lot for the team, as well as you guys for putting on the show. Monday nights is always good. It's always a bit of a average day at work and come home and have a good day on the sim. So yeah, it's cool.
That's it, mate. Great drive and good to see you up on the podium as well. So thanks to our top 2 in Class A, Jack Boyd with the win tonight, Jared Phillips up P2, Ryan Casher came in P3 and hasn't joined us. But we'll go straight to Group B now. And a massive congratulations, Tyson Gordon. Congratulations, mate. You got the win. You must be stoked.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. Thank you.
Mate, you drove an exceptional race out there. We didn't see a lot of you because you were just ticking off the laps, being consistent, and, mate, that's what wins your races.
I spent a lot of time in the car this week.
Bit of practice, and it paid off. We did have Bianca on the chat saying you put a bit of practice in, so there you go.
Yeah, good. Awesome.
Good drive, mate, and it's great to see you on the top step. Anthony joined us in the booth for the night and has come home P2 in class, so 15th outright, P2. Are you happy with that?
Oh, mate, I'm happy with that. In top 5, then anything like that, I'm happy with. But yeah, Tyson drove extremely well. Just picked the people to follow and got the gap and run good times. And even to Graham there in 3rd, that's extremely well.
Well, Graham, we're about to go to him, mate. Congratulations on the podium for local Larry Racing. Mate, stoked to see you up there. Well done.
Oh, mate, it's like a win to me. It's just grouse. Put a lot of work in over a lot of seasons, but this season I've just had a little bit of a hand. Thanks, Anth. Just to clean my driving up a little bit, and yeah, this is a win to me. It's grouse.
Mate, P3 in class, fantastic. Tick that off the list. Now it's P2, then a win, and then you start moving up into the top, with the top class. So fantastic to see you on the 3rd step of the podium for local Larry Racing and doing the 55 car proud tonight. Great driving. Let's do the thank yous, starting with Tyson Gordon tonight for Taps NT Racing. Who would you like to thank, Tyson?
Big thanks to all the sponsors, Wellbundry and Simworx. Thanks to all the admins, and I just want to say a big thanks to all the guys that come every week. I didn't know Sim Racing was 9 months ago, and
there you go.
They turn up every week, and it's awesome.
Mate, it's great having you here, and that's a fantastic drive. Like I said, we saw bits and pieces of you throughout the broadcast, but you just drove one of those races. Mr. Consistent tonight. The practice paid off. Well done.
Thank you.
Anthony P2, who would you like to thank, mate?
Oh, I'd just like to thank Lock Your Road, Carriage and Sons, Greg and boys and Jesse, and especially thanks Darren Linus for helping me out during the few weeks as well.
Fantastic drive, and thanks for joining us in the comm booth as well, Anthony. And finally, Graham Ellis, P3. Who would you like to thank, mate?
myself, local Larry, Greg and the admin team, they do a remarkable job behind the scenes to set this up and to keep it going for as long as it has, and just all the blokes who turn up each week and the sponsors who support the league. You know, it's a big job to put one of these on, and you need good sponsors and good people to run it, and that's what this league is. I class it as one of the best in iRacing. And you know, and yourself, Luke, you put on a great broadcast, so thank you to everyone. You know, every little bit helps.
No, thank you, mate, and you do. Thanks for all the support you've given me as well. I always see your comments in there, you know, not just for this broadcast, but many others. You log in, have a quick look, so I appreciate your support, mate. And what a great drive tonight to see on the podium. Graham Ellis, thanks to our podium for Class B. Tyson Gordon with the win. Anthony Connors, P2. Graham Ellis to round out your top three. Greg, I'll throw it over to you, mate, to wrap things up. Like Graham just said, it needs some good people running it, mate. You're genuinely one of the best, and I know sometimes it can be a bit hard. You sat that second race out, and you can feel a bit hard done by, or, you know, it doesn't all come to plan. But mate, take a look at this league. It is, 39 drivers out there having an absolute ripper of a time, and pat yourself on the back, man, on behalf of everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. I mean, as I always say, it's not one person; it's a whole team of people. Guys like Anthony, Graham, even Damien, Loshy, as we like to call him, Mark, Foster, Foz. I mean, all those boys behind the scenes are what drives this league. I mean, it's easy to be out the front and everybody saying, wow, you do a fantastic job. But really, if you don't have a team of guys supporting you, and even yourself with the ideas and that you've sort of come up with, the qualifying and stuff, it all helps. It all makes it more interesting, because I think that's what makes leagues go stale, is when there's no innovation. It's just the same thing every week. So we're constantly looking at new ideas, and as I said earlier, there will be some changes coming, but hopefully they'll be for the better. And we'll get another 8 seasons.
There you go, mate. Right, well, thanks for another great night of racing here at Monza. Thanks to our podium, but Greg Holmes, big thanks to you and all the admin team for putting this on. We'll see you next week for round number 5 of this season number 8 of the Roadster Rumble. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Thanks, Luke.
Thanks,
Bye.
Luke.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.